Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Some massive news for those down in Columbus and the Ohio State Buckeyes as they land one of the top cornerbacks in that 2024 class in Aaron Scott. And this was a wild ride. Many of you guys know if you've been listening to me, Michigan fan. This was a Michigan-Ohio State battle down to the end. And Ohio State, just like Bryce West, they pull it out in the end in a massive commitment for the Ohio State Buckeyes. And again, even as a Michigan fan, I have to give credit where it's due. I mean, Ryan Day and this coaching staff are building a very special class in 2024. We're going to dive into Aaron Scott, take a look at the film, and then talk about this Ohio State class of 2024 and then who they potentially could be landing in the month of August as well. Before we do, just want to say, appreciate you guys. You guys been rocking with the boys in a big way, and it's no secret the Ohio State Buckeyes have been one of the hottest teams on the recruiting trail, and as a recruiting nerd that I am, we've been talking a lot of Ohio State football, and the support you guys have shown truly does mean a lot, trying to break down as many of these commitments as I possibly can for you guys. So before we get into it, if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you guys rocking with the boys. And let's get into Aaron Scott, and you take a look at the things that, if you guys have been listening to me, I kind of look for three things for these cornerbacks coming to college football. One, length. That is like a key thing that college programs are looking for and NFL programs are looking for. NFL teams, I should say, are looking for, right? Do you have that length? Can you use that length? Do you have the long speed? And do you have the ball skills? Those are the three things. And Aaron Scott, I mean, couples all three of those things. He checks off all the boxes. But even more importantly for Aaron Scott and why I think he's such a phenomenal prospect, and trust me, as a Michigan fan, I've watched the tape a couple times now. This dude is truly good. He's as polished as it gets for a cornerback at the high school level. A lot of times when you have cornerbacks, they play wide receiver, they're really, really raw and very athletic, and that's what you see at the top of these rankings. Aaron Scott, although he is extremely athletic, he checks all those boxes from an athletic profile. You're getting a prospect that is extremely, extremely clean with his technique, and he understands that cornerback position at an extremely high level. Now, I want to get into the film, kind of show you guys what I'm talking about. You're going to see him be very comfortable in off coverage. He's going to be really comfortable around the line of scrimmage, but just a really good understanding of reading quarterbacks, playing that football in the air. And again, you see some athleticism when he's returning this back as well. But Aaron Scott, I mean, understands the position, understands multiple different techniques, and that's something really important. In this Jim Knowles defense, you're going to be asked to do a lot of different things in terms of coverage. You see a little press man here, following across and route across the field, makes a play on the football. Aaron Scott, not only kind of a lockdown cornerback, also a guy that gets his hands on a lot of footballs and picks off a lot of footballs. And you guys know how important turnovers are at that college football level. Again, breaking on the ball, that's where I like him best. Like an off coverage where he can kind of read the quarterback and then go break on the football once it's thrown. That's where I like him the most. Again, breaks right in front of the wide receiver, beats him to the spot, intercepts the ball. That's where I think Aaron Scott thrives the most. But again, he has that length. He has that physicality against the line of scrimmage as well. This is truly an incredible rep, by the way. Basically, right what you want to do, right? No safety help, press coverage, squeezes that wide receiver right to the sound boundary. And then when that football's in the air, does not panic, finds the football. I don't even know how he really intercepts this football, but he does. I mean, you're talking about a guy with truly good ball skills, and he just a really good understanding of that cornerback position. Ohio State Buckeyes getting a really good one here. And I kind of want to get into this 2024 class for the Ohio State Buckeyes, right? And on Twitter, I follow a lot of Ohio State fans, interact with a lot of Ohio State fans, and they were talking about kind of the need to grab some more elite prospects on the defensive side of the ball, right? You know, Brian Hartline and Ryan Day are going to do their thing on the offense side of the ball. Two of the best wide receivers locked up, Jeremiah Smith, Mylan Graham. You go down the list. You have a guy in Aaron Noland who, if you've been listening to me, I think by the end of this cycle, when it's time to sign the dotted line in December, you're talking about a five-star prospect in Aaron Noland, 6'3", 200 pounds, phenomenal arm, turned a lot of heads at the Elite 11. So you got two really good wide receivers, phenomenal quarterback, and then two really good running backs. James Peoples coming from Texas. Very, very good. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, what a month of July for the Ohio State Buckeyes, right? Kicking it off with landing five-star defensive lineman Justin Scott from Chicago, who also was a win on the recruiting trail against Michigan. Sounded like he was wanting to commit to Michigan. Ohio State came in late there. And now you have two of the top cornerbacks in this class, and Bryce West and Aaron Scott, and another guy that we've talked a lot about, Miles Lockhart, all committing in the month of July. Ohio State starting to turn it up on both sides of the ball, right? You know they're going to get their guys on the offense. I think what a lot of Ohio State fans were talking about is, hey, we got to get it going on the defensive side of the ball, and they certainly doing that. Miles Lockhart, Bryce West, Aaron Scott filling out a really good secondary, coupled with the five-star defensive lineman Justin Scott. And I want to talk about what this recruiting class stacks up against. Is the number 2 class in the country with only 19 commits in the boat. This is their 13th 4-star. Aaron Scott, borderline 5-star. What I want to focus on is the average commit, right? Georgia is going to be ranked 1 because they have 6 more commitments in the boat. But you take a look at the average prospect that Ohio State is grabbing in this 2024 class, a 93.34. And with Aaron Scott factoring in, I think it's going to go above that 93.42, which Georgia has. It's looking like Ohio State, if they can fill out that class and take as many prospects as Georgia, might be able to take over that number 1 spot. And we're seeing kind of just utter domination on the recruiting trail for Georgia and Ohio State, right? I mean, there are not really many teams. There's a big gap between what Ohio State and Georgia are doing and then what the 3 and 4 teams, Michigan and Florida, are doing. And again, Florida, Michigan, as a Michigan fan, like, I'm very happy with the class that they're bringing in. But Ohio State and Georgia, like, they are just really crushing it on the class. And to talk about a few prospects that could be going to Ohio State in the month of August, we have KJ Bolding committing August 5th. It sounds like Georgia and Ohio State are battling it out for that one. You have 5-star defensive lineman Edric Houston committing at the end of August. That seems like an Ohio State-Alabama matchup on the recruiting trail. Ohio State, although they already have a phenomenal class with 19 commitments, this is number 2 class in the country, they're still trending for a lot of top prospects, and this could be a very, very fun next couple of weeks for the Buckeyes. So again, if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. We'll try to cover as many of these commitments as we can. Appreciate you guys rocking with the boys, and we'll talk to y'all tomorrow, or I'll talk to y'all later, I guess. Peace.